What's up, listeners? Hi, and good day. This is AJ Barreto, the one and only life expert in Social Studies 3-2. In today's episode, I will share to you about fighting against the odds. This is overcoming fear of failure, facing your fear of moving forward. Have you ever been so afraid of failing at something that you decide not to try it at all? Or has a fear of failure meant that subconsciously you undermine your own efforts to avoid the possibility of a larger failure? Oh my god. Many of us have probably experienced this at one time or another. The fear of failing can be immobilizing. It can cause us to do nothing and therefore resist moving forward. But when we allow fear to stop our forward progress in life, we're likely to miss some great opportunities along the way. Right. In this episode, we examine fear of failure, what it means, what causes it, and how to overcome it to enjoy true success in work and in real life. So, to find the causes of fear of failure, we first need to understand what failure actually means. So listeners, what do you mean failure for you? So, we have all different definitions of failure, simply because we all have different benchmarks, values, and belief systems. A failure to one person might simply be a great learning experience for someone else. Many of us are afraid of failing, at least some of the time, but fear of failure, also called ITC phobia, is when we allow that fear to stop us doing the things that can move us forward to achieve our goals. Fear of failure can be linked to many causes. For instance, having critical or unsupportive parents is a cause for some people because they were routinely undermined or humiliated in childhood. They carry those negative feelings into adulthood. Experience a traumatic event at some point in your life can also be cause. For example, say that several years ago you gave an important presentation in front of a large group and you did very poorly. The experience might have been so terrible that you became afraid of failing in other things, and you carry the fear even now, years later. So that are the example that I can give the causes of fear. So let us proceed. How you experience fear of failure. You might experience some or all of these symptoms if you have a fear of failure. So I researched, so I gained four. So first is a reluctance to try new things or get involved in challenging projects. Second, self-sabotage. For example, procrastinations, excessive anxiety, or a failure to follow through with goals. And the third is low self-esteem or self-confidence, commonly using negative statements such as "I'll never be good enough to get that promotion" or "I'm not smart enough to get in that team." My God. And the last one is perfectionism, a willingness to try only those things that you know you finish perfectly and successfully. So that are the four symptoms that you've been experiencing a fear of failure. Next is the definition of failure. So, it's almost impossible to go through life without experiencing some kind of failure. People who do so probably live so cautiously that they go nowhere. But put simply, they're not really living at all. But the wonderful thing about failure is that it's entirely up to us to decide how to look at it. We can choose to see failure as the end of the world or as a proof of just how inadequate we are. Or we can look at failure as the incredible learning experience that it often is. Every time we failed at something, we can choose to look for the lesson we're meant to learn. Correct. These lessons are very important. They're how we grow and how we keep from making that same mistake again. Failures stop us only if we let them. It is easy to find successful people who have experienced failure. For example, Michael Jordan is widely considered to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and yet he has cut from his high school basketball team because his coach did not think he had enough skills. Oh my god, but wow. The second is Warren Buffett, one of the world's richest and most successful businessmen, was rejected by the Harvard University. Oh my god, but that's a great revenge, and not a revenge, that's not a kind of revenge, but something motivation. Then the last one is Richard Branson. So Honor the Virgin Empire is a high school dropout. Oh my god, she was now a king of his own empire. Oh my god. So both of us will stumble and fall in life. Doors will get slammed in our faces and we might make some bad decision. But imagine if Michael Jordan had given up on his dream to play basketball when he has cut from that team. Imagine if Richard Branson had listened to the people who told him he'd never do anything worthwhile without a high school diploma. Think of the opportunities you miss if you let your failure stop you. Failure can also teach us things about ourselves that we would never have learned otherwise. For instance, failure can help you discover how strong a person you are. Failing at something can help you discover your truest friend or the right person, or help you find unexpected motivation to succeed. Often, valuable insight come only after a failure. Accepting and learning from those insights is a key to succeeding in life. Char char char. Let's go to another subheadings. How not to be afraid of failure. So, it is important to realize that in everything we do, there's always a chance that we fail. Facing that chance and embracing it is not only courageous, it also gives us a fuller, more rewarding life. However, here are the few ways to reduce the fear of failing. So, I have do a research for this so that I can share some of the ways to reduce the fear of failing. Analyze all potential outcomes. That was the first thing. Many people experience fear of failure because they fear the unknown. Remove that fear by considering all of the potential outcomes of your decision. So, that's the first one. The second one is learn to think more positively. Positive thinking is an incredibly powerful way to build self-confidence and neutralize self-sabotage. So, the third one is look at the worst case scenario. In some cases, the worst case scenarios may be genuinely disastrous and it may be perfectly rational to fear failure. In other cases, however, this worst case may actually not be that bad, and recognizing this can be very helpful. And the fourth one is have a contingency plan. So, if you are afraid of failing at something, having a plan B in place can help you feel more confident about moving forward. So, this is what I do in our research. So, I suggest my teammates that we have to create plan B so that we can be prepared if our plan A will be rejected by our thesis committee. So that was one of my techniques. Oh my god. So let's proceed to another subheadings. Let us talk about how to stop living in fear. So not the means to stop, but let's try to reduce it or make it our life comfortable. So if you are afraid of failure, you might be uncomfortable setting goals, diba? But goals help us define where we want to go in life. Without goals, we have no sure destination. Many experts recommend visualization as a powerful tool for goal setting. Imagine how life will be after you reach your goals is a great motivator to keep you moving forward. However, visualization might produce the opposite result in people who have fear of failure. So, research shows that people who have a fear of failure were often left in a strong negative mood after being asked to visualize goals and goal attainment. So, what can you do instead? First is start by setting a few small goals. These should be goals that are slightly but not overwhelmingly challenging. Think of these goals as early wins that are designed to help boost your confidence. So, for example, if you've been too afraid to talk to the new department head who has the power to give you the promotion you want, then make that your first goal. So, plan to stop by your office during the next week to introduce yourself, or imagine that you dream of returning to your school to get your MBA, but you're convinced that you're not smart enough to be accepted into business school. Set a goal to talk with a school counselor or admission officer to see what required for admission. Try to make your goals tiny step on the route to much bigger goals. Don't focus on the end picture, getting the promotion or graduating with an cum laude. Just focus on the next step. Introduce yourself to the department head and talking to admission officers. That's it. Taking one small step at the time will help build your confidence, keep you moving forward, and prevent you from getting overwhelmed with vision of your final goal. So I will give you a warning on this episode. Sometimes being afraid of failure can be a symptom of more serious mental health condition. Negative thinking can cause severe health problems and extreme cases death. While these techniques have been shown to have a positive effect on reducing stress, they are for guidance only, and listeners should take the advice of suitable qualified health professional if they have any concern over related illnesses or if negative thoughts are causing significant or persistent unhappiness. Health professionals should also be consulted before any major change in diet or level of exercise. So before I end this podcast, let me share you the key point on this first episode. So many of us are sometimes afraid of failing, but we must not let that fear stop us from moving forward. Fear of failure can have several causes, from childhood event to mistake we made in our adult lives. It's important to realize that we always have a choice. We can choose to be afraid or we can choose not to be. Start by setting small goals that will help build your confidence, learn how to explore and evaluate all possible outcomes rationally, and develop contingency plans, and practice thinking positively. By moving forward slowly but steadily, you begin to overcome your fear. This episode teaches you the skills you need for a happy and successful career. And this is just one of the many topic and life advice that you find here at Podcast. Subscribe to my channel or join my club and really supercharge your career. So this is AJ Barredo, your one and only life expert from Social Study 3-2, and I'll say good luck and God bless to your journey. Bye bye, see you next week.